Hello and welcome to Drishti IAS English. I am Aisha, and in this UPSC Prelims 2024 analysis series, the subject which we will be covering today is geography. So let's begin with geography. Question number 1. The longest border between any two countries in the world is between Canada and the USA, Chile and Argentina, China and India, Kazakhstan and Russian Federation. So the correct answer of this question is option number A, that is Canada and US. So Canada and the United States share the longest international border in the world, and the length is around 8,890 kilometers. Therefore option A is the correct answer. And in comparison to it, if we talk about the Russia and Kazakhstan border, then it is 6,846 kilometers. Then if we talk about the Chile and Argentina border, it is 5,308 kilometers. And then if we talk about the China and India border, then it is 3,488 kilometers. And the states between India and China involved are Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, and then we have the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and Leh. So the correct answer is option A. Next question. Question number 2, that is consider the following statement. So there are two statements given. First, Suez pipeline is a strategic route for Persian Gulf oil and natural gas shipments to Europe. Statement 2, Suez pipeline connects the Red Sea with the Mediterranean Sea. Which one of the following is correct in respect of the above statements? Both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, and statement 2 explains statement 1. Both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, but statement 2 does not explain statement 1. Statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. Statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. Let's see. The correct answer of this is option A, that is both statement 1 and 2 are correct, and 2 explains statement 1. So if we talk about the Suez Canal and the Suez pipeline, they are strategic routes for Persian Gulf crude oil, petroleum products and liquefied natural gas shipments to Europe and North America. Therefore statement 1 becomes correct. And the Suez Canal and the Suez pipeline are located in Egypt. So if we look at the map, then this is Egypt, and this is the Suez Canal which connects the Red Sea with the Mediterranean Sea, and also the Suez pipeline, and it is very clearly that it is located in Egypt and it is connecting the Red Sea with the Mediterranean Sea. Therefore statement 2 is also correct, and both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, and 2 explains first. Therefore the correct answer is option A. Next, question number 3. Consider the following statements. First, the Red Sea receives very little precipitation in any form. Second, no water enters the Red Sea from rivers. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. So the correct answer of this question is option C, that is both 1 and 2. So both 1 and 2 statement are correct. So if we will talk about the Red Sea, then Red Sea is a narrow strip of water. It is extending southeastward from Suez, that is southeastward from Suez, Egypt, for about 1200 miles to the Bab al-Mandeb Strait, which connects the Gulf of Eden and the Arabian Sea. So this is Gulf of Eden and this is the Arabian Sea. So this will be the Bab al-Mandeb Strait. And the Red Sea region receives very little precipitation in any form, although prehistoric artifacts indicate that there were periods with great amounts of rainfall. But it receives very little precipitation in any form. So first is correct. Then second, that no water enters the Red Sea from rivers and rainfall is scant. So rainfall is also very scant, as we know it in the first statement that the rainfall is very scant. But the evaporation loss in excess of 80 inches per year is made up by an inflow through the eastern channel of the Bab al-Mandeb Strait from the Gulf of Eden. Therefore statement 2 is also correct, and the correct answer becomes option C, that is both 1 and 2. Next, that is question number 4. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, that is EPA, which one of the following is the largest source of sulfur dioxide emissions? locomotives using fossil fuels, ships using fossil fuels, extraction of metals from ores, or power plants using fossil fuels. So the correct answer of this is option D, that is power plants using fossil fuels. So the largest source of SO2, that is sulfur dioxide, in the atmosphere is the burning of fossil fuels by power plants and other industrial facilities. So burning of fossil fuels by power plants and other industrial facilities. Smaller sources of SO2 emissions include industrial processes. So it also include industrial processes, but they are smaller in nature, such as extracting metal from ores, natural sources such as volcanoes and locomotives, ships and other vehicles, and heavy equipments that burn fuel with a high sulfur content. But the largest source is option D, that is power plant using fossil fuels. Next, consider the following statements. There are two statements given, that is statement 1 and statement 2. So the statement 1 is the atmosphere is heated more by incoming solar radiation than by terrestrial radiation. Statement 2, carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases in the atmosphere good absorbs long wave radiation. Which one of the following is correct in respect of the above statements? Both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, and statement 2 explains statement 1. Both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, but statement 2 does not explain statement 1. Statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. Statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. So the correct answer of this is option D, that is statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. Let's see. The earth radiates heat energy like all other hot objects. This is known as terrestrial radiation. Incoming solar radiation, though short waves, is termed as insolation. So insolation is short waves. Radiation is the process by which solar energy reaches the earth and the earth loses energy to outer space. Atmosphere is transparent to short waves and opaque to long waves. Heat energy leaving the earth's surface, that is terrestrial radiation, it heats up the atmosphere more than the incoming solar radiation, that is insolation. So statement 1 becomes correct because terrestrial radiation, the atmosphere is heated by more by terrestrial radiation as compared to the incoming solar radiation. So first becomes wrong. Then second statement, long wave radiation is absorbed by atmospheric gases, particularly carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. Therefore statement 2 is correct. So carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases in the atmosphere are good absorbers of long wave radiation. So first is wrong, second is correct. Therefore the correct answer of this question is option D. Next question. Consider the following statements. There are two statements given. Statement 1, thickness of the troposphere at the equator is much greater as compared to poles. Statement 2, at the equator heat is transported to great heights by strong convectional currents. Which of the following is correct in respect of the above statements? Both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, and statement 2 explains statement 1. Both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, but statement 2 does not explain statement 1. Statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is incorrect, statement 1 is incorrect, statement 2 is correct. So the correct answer of this question is option A, that is both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct and statement 2 explains statement 1. Let's see. The troposphere is the lowermost layer of the atmosphere. So if we will talk about the atmosphere, so there are different layers. So this is troposphere and it is the lowermost. Above this is stratosphere. It is the lowermost layer of the atmosphere. Its average height is 13 kilometers. So it is roughly 13 kilometers in height and extends roughly to a height of 8 kilometers near the poles and about 18 kilometers at the equator. So the thickness of the troposphere at the equator is much greater as compared to poles. That is correct. Equator is about 18 kilometers. So troposphere is thickest at the equator and much thinner at north and south poles. Therefore first is correct. Thickness of the troposphere is greatest at the equator because heat is transported to great heights by strong convectional currents. Therefore statement 1 is and statement 2 both are correct and second explains statement 1. Therefore the correct answer is option A. Next question, that is question number 7. Which of the following is or are correct inferences from isothermal maps in the month of January? Isothermal map in the month of January. There are two statements given and we have to talk about the correct code. The isotherms deviate to the north over the ocean and to the south over the continent. So, ocean north, continent south. The presence of cold ocean currents, Gulf Stream and North Atlantic drift make the North Atlantic Ocean colder than the isotherms bend towards the north. So, let's see which one is correct. 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer is option A, that is 1 only. So, isotherms are imaginary lines that connect points having the same temperature at a given time or on average over a given period. These lines are used in meteorology and climatology to represent temperature distributions across geographical areas. In January, so if we will talk about the month of January, the isotherms deviate to the north over the ocean, and to the south over the continent. This can be seen on the North Atlantic Ocean. Therefore, statement 1 becomes correct. So, ocean north, continent south. Now, the presence of warm ocean currents, Gulf Stream, this is warm ocean currents, and the North Atlantic drift, it makes the Northern Atlantic Ocean warmer. So, it makes the Northern Atlantic Ocean warmer and the isotherms bend towards the north. Therefore, statement 2 is not correct. So, it does not become colder, it becomes warmer, and not the cold ocean current, it is the warm ocean current. Therefore, first is correct, second is incorrect, and the correct answer becomes option A, that is 1 only. So, next question. Which of the following countries are well known as the two largest cocoa producers in the world? Two largest cocoa producers in the world. Algeria and Morocco, Botswana and Namibia, Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana, Madagascar and Mozambique. So, the correct answer for this is option C, that is Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana. So, if we talk about Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana, then both of them belongs to the African continent. So, they belongs to Africa and they are the two largest cocoa growing countries, accounting for nearly 60% of global cocoa production, and followed by Ecuador with 9%. So, Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana is around 60%, which is huge. With 2.2 million tons of cocoa in 2022, Cote d'Ivoire is the world's largest producer. Largest producer is Cote d'Ivoire, accounting for a third of the global total. Then Ghana is another top producer of cocoa. The production of cocoa contributes significantly to the nation's GDP. And if we talk about Asia, then in Asia, it is Indonesia. In Asia, it is Indonesia which is the largest producer. So, the correct answer becomes Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana. So, the correct answer is option C. Next question. With reference to the Himalayan rivers joining the Ganga downstream of Prayagraj from west to east, which one of the following sequence is correct? West to east. So, if we talk about the direction, then this is north, this is south, this is west, and this is east. So, from west to east. Ghagra, Gomti, Gandak, Kosi. Gomti, Ghagra, Gandak, Kosi. Ghagra, Gomti, Kosi, Gandak. Gomti, Ghagra, Kosi, Gandak. So, let's see from west to east. So, if you will look at the map, then see, if we talk about Ghagra, Gandak and Kosi, if we talk about the Indian states, then all three belongs to the state of Bihar. They enter in the state of Bihar, and Kosi is also known as the sorrow of Bihar. And if we talk about Gomti, so it is basically Uttar Pradesh, and the city of Lucknow, that is the capital of Uttar Pradesh, is situated on the Gomti river. So, if we talk about east to west, then automatically if we know that all three belongs to Bihar and Gomti is UP, that is Lucknow is situated on it. So, Gomti will be the First one, because it will be the westernmost. So first is Gomti. So if we know that, so option A and option C gets eliminated. Now we will be knowing that the answer will be between option B and option. Then if we will look at the map, see, this is Gomti. Lucknow is situated on it. After Gomti comes Ghagra. After Ghagra comes Gandak. And after Gandak comes Kosi. So the correct will be Gomti, Ghagra, Gandak, Kosi. So Gomti, Ghagra, Gandak, Kosi is option B. So option B is the correct answer. Next question. Now coming on to the question number 10, that is, consider the following statement. So there are three statements given, that is statement 1, statement 2 and statement 3. So statement 1 talks about rainfall is one of the reasons for withering of rocks. Statement 2, rainwater contains carbon dioxide in solution. Statement 3, rainwater contains atmospheric oxygen. Which of the following is correct in respect of the above statements? Both statement 2 and statement 3 are correct, and both of them explains statement 1. Both statement 2 and statement 3 are correct, but only one of them explains statement 1. Only one of the statements 2 and 3 is correct, and that explains statement 1. Neither statement 2 nor statement 3 is correct. So if we will know that, I will consider this question as a difficult one because we are not used to. Till now, if you will see that the paper mostly has statement 1 and statement 2 question, and this was the only question which had 3 statements. So the options are confusing. So if anyone is attempting it in a very fast manner, then the aspirant might get the options reading wrong. This needs very cautious reading. So let's see. So this is 10th. So correct answer of this is option A. That is, both option 2 and option 3 are correct. So second and third is correct, and both of them explains statement 1. It means first of all three are correct, and then second and third both explains statement 1. So let us see. So if we talk about withering, withering is a term which describes the general process by which rocks are broken down. Rocks are broken down at the earth's surface into such things as sediments, clays, soils and substances that are dissolved in water. So withering can be biological, chemical or physical. Now let us talk about rainfall and temperature. Rainfall and temperature can affect the rate in which rocks wither. Greater rainfall increases the rate of chemical withering. So rainfall is one of the reasons for withering of rocks. This becomes correct. Now, rocks in tropical region exposed to abundant rainfall and hot temperature weather must faster than similar rocks residing in cold or dry regions. So, hot temperature and abundant rainfall, the process of withering becomes faster. Therefore, statement 1 becomes correct. Now, let us talk about rainwater contains carbon dioxide in solution. So carbon dioxide from the air is dissolved in rainwater, making it slightly acidic. Making it slightly acidic in nature. Normal rain has a pH of about 5.6. It is slightly acidic because carbon dioxide dissolves into it, forming weak carbonic acid. Therefore, statement 2 becomes correct. Now, first statement was correct, second statement is also correct. Now let's come to the third statement, that is rainwater contains atmospheric oxygen. Now oxygen is one of the most important elements collected from falling rainwater. This dissolved oxygen is not the same as the oxygen in the water molecule. Dissolved oxygen is present in all rainwater and surface supplies due to contact with the atmosphere. Therefore, third statement is also correct. So, rainfall is one of the reasons for withering of rocks. That is correct. Rainwater contains carbon dioxide in solution. Correct. Rainwater contains atmospheric oxygen. Correct. And statement 1 and statement 2 is both explaining statement 1. Therefore, the correct answer becomes option A. Next question. That is question number 11. Consider the following countries, that is Finland, Germany, Norway, Russia. How many of the above countries have a border with the North Sea? Only 1, only 2, only 3, all 4. So if we will look at the map, this is the map of the North Sea. So this is the North Sea. This is Scandinavian countries. Scandinavian countries, this is Europe mainland, and this is the British Isles. So if this is the North Sea. So how many of the above countries have a border with the North Sea? Finland, very clearly, Norway has a border with the North Sea, and this is Sweden, and Finland will be in this side. So Finland very clearly does not share a border with the North Sea. So Finland gets eliminated. Next is Germany. So look at the map of Europe. Let me rub it. This is Germany, and very clearly Germany is sharing border with the North Sea. Correct. Then third is Norway. Norway is, I think, the most clear that it is sharing with border with the North Sea. And then comes Russia. So very clearly it is visible then that Russia is not sharing border with the North Sea. This is United Kingdom. This is Norway. This is Sweden. This is Denmark. This is Germany. This is Netherlands. This is Belgium, and this is France. So Russia is nowhere there. So Russia also gets eliminated. So the correct answer becomes option B, that is only 2. So the correct answer of this is only 2. Now moving on to the next question, that is question number 12. So let us see, consider the following information. On one side we have waterfall, then region, and then river. So in how many of the above rows is the given information correctly matched? Given information correctly matched. So if we talk about waterfall, first let's see. First is Dhuandhar, region is Malwa, river is Narmada. So let us see. So Dhuandhar waterfall is in the Jabalpur district of Madhya Pradesh, and the river is Narmada. But the region is not Malwa. The region is not Malwa Plateau. So first becomes wrong. Then second comes the Hundru Falls. Then second is the Hundru Falls. So Hundru Falls is present in Ranchi. Hundru Falls is present in Ranchi, and it is created on the course of Subarnarekha river, where it falls from a height of 320 feet. 320 feet, creating the highest waterfall of the state. So Hundru waterfall is the highest waterfall of the state. It is situated at a distance of 45 kilometers from the main city of Ranchi. So the fall is a surprise package for the visitors who love the panoramic view of the Chota Nagpur plateau. So the region is also Chota Nagpur. So second becomes correct. Then third is the Jersopa Falls. Jersopa Falls is also known as the Jog Falls, and it is famously known by the name of the Jog Fall, and it is present in Karnataka. And it is present in the Karnataka, and it is a major attraction in Karnataka. It is located in the Simoga district of Karnataka, and it is also known by the alternative name of Jersopa Falls or Jogada Gundi. And the river on which it is situated is the Shravati river, that is Shravati. So it is not situated on the Netravati river, it is situated on the Shravati river. So third also becomes wrong. So first and third is wrong, while second is correct. So how many pairs are correct? It is only one. Therefore the correct answer is option A, that is only 1. Next question. This is question number 13. So consider the following information. On one side the region is given, then next is the name of the mountain range, and then the type of mountain. And what we have to talk about, in how many of the above rows is the given information correctly matched. So let's see. Region is Central Asia, name of the mountain is Vosges, type of mountain is Fold Mountain. So if we will talk about the Central Asia, Vosges and the Fold Mountain. So first of all, Vosges is not situated in Central Asia, it is situated in Europe, and then it is not Fold Mountain, it is a block mountain. It is a block mountain. Then second, so this becomes wrong. Second is Europe Alps block mountain. So second is Europe Alps. So Alps is situated in Europe. This is correct, but that is not block mountain. It is an example of the fold mountain. So it is not a block mountain, it is a fold mountain. So second also becomes wrong. Then third comes the Appalachians. So Appalachians mountain, it is correct that it is situated in the North America, and the Appalachians mountain in North America and the Ural mountains in Russia, they have rounded features and low elevation, and they are very old mountains. So they are very old, they are very old fold mountains. So third becomes correct. Fold mountain, Appalachians, North America, correct. Then comes fourth, that is Andes, South America, fold mountain. So Andes, South America is correct. Andes are the world's longest mountain chain, and they stretch along the west coast of South America. So if this is South America, then the west coast of South America. And it is also an example of the fold mountain. So this is also correct. Both Andes and Rockies are example of fold mountains. So how many are correctly matched pairs? So there are two correctly matched pairs, that is third and fourth. So the correct answer is option B, that is only 2. Next question, that is question number 14. Consider the following description, and it is asking that which is this type of climate. So the type of climate is being asked. It says annual and daily range of temperature is low. Precipitation occurs throughout the year. Precipitation varies between 50 centimeter to 250 centimeter. Which type of climate? Equatorial climate, China type climate, humid subtropical climate, or marine west coast climate. See, type of climate is also one of the favorite topics of UPSC. Many a times we have seen in the previous year questions that a question is being asked from the type of climate. So let us talk about these features. So the correct answer is option D, that is the marine west coast climate. So it is located poleward from the Mediterranean climate. Mediterranean climate on the west coast of the continents. West coast of the continents. The main areas are North West Europe, west coast of North America, north of California, southern Chile, southeastern. So this is southeastern Australia. Southeastern Australia and New Zealand. Due to marine influence, the temperature is moderate, and in winter it is warmer than for its latitude. So the mean temperature in summer months ranges from 15 degrees Celsius to 20 degrees Celsius, and in winter from 4 degrees Celsius to 10 degrees Celsius. So the annual and daily range of temperature are small. Annual and daily range of temperature is small. Precipitation occurs throughout the year, and precipitation varies greatly from 50 centimeter to 250 centimeter. Therefore, all three depicts the marine west coast climate type. Therefore, the correct answer is option D. Next, that is question number 15. With reference to Coriolis force, which of the following statements are correct? So there are two statements. We have to talk about the correct code. One only, two only, both one and two, neither one nor two. So it says it increases with increase in wind velocity. Second, it is maximum at the poles and is absent at the equator. So let's know about the Coriolis force. So Coriolis force is an apparent force that acts on objects moving within a rotating reference frame. So rotating reference frame, such as the surface of the earth. So if we talk about the Coriolis force, then it deflects the wind to the right direction in the northern hemisphere and to the left in the southern hemisphere. So if this is northern hemisphere and this is southern hemisphere, then northern hemisphere in the right direction, northern hemisphere in the right direction, and southern hemisphere in the left direction, southern hemisphere in the left direction. So the deflection is more when the wind velocity is high. So the deflection is more when the wind velocity is high. So first statement, that is it increases with increase in wind velocity, becomes correct. Then the Coriolis force is directly proportional to the angle of latitude. It is directly proportional to the angle of latitude. It is maximum at the poles, and is absent at the equator. Therefore statement 2 also becomes correct. At the equator, the Coriolis force is 0. Therefore the correct answer becomes option C, that is both 1 and 2. Next question. This is question number 16. on June 21 every year, which of the following latitudes experience a sunlight of more than 12 hours? More than 12 hours. Equator, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn or Arctic Circle. Select the correct answer using the code given below. That is 1 only, 2 only, 3 and 4, 2 and 4. The correct answer for this question is option D, that is 2 and 4. So, Tropic of Cancer and Arctic Circle is correct. Let us know. On 21st June, the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun. So, if this is the earth and this is the sun, then the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun. The rays of the sun falls directly on the Tropic of Cancer. So, if this is equator, this is Tropic of Cancer, this is Tropic of Capricorn. So, the rays of the sun directly falls on the Tropic of Cancer. So, second becomes correct. As a result, these areas receive more heat. The areas near the poles receive less heat as the rays of the suns are slanting. So, the North Pole is inclined towards the sun and the places beyond the Arctic Circle experience continuous daylight for about 6 months. So, the places beyond the Arctic Circle, they experience continuous daylight for about 6 months. Therefore, Tropic of Cancer and Arctic Circle becomes correct. While equator and Tropic of Capricorn becomes wrong. This is equator, this is Tropic of Capricorn. They will not receive direct sunlight. So, it will not be having a sunlight of more than 12 hours. Therefore, the correct answer is option D, that is 2 and 4. Now, next question. And this will be the last question of the geography subject. So, let's see. One of the following regions that has the world's largest tropical peatland, which holds about 3 years worth of global carbon emissions from fossil fuels and the possible destruction of which can exert detrimental effect on the global climate. Which one of the following denotes that region? Amazon Basin, Congo Basin, Kikori Basin or Rio de la Plata Basin. Rio de la Plata Basin. See, if there is an option named Amazon Basin, there are high chances that people or aspirants will mark Amazon Basin as the correct answer. But the correct answer of this question is option B, that is Congo Basin. So, the Congo Basin is home to the world's largest tropical peatland. World's largest tropical peatland along with Brazil and Indonesia. So, along with Brazil and Indonesia. So, it is Congo Basin, Brazil and Indonesia. The peat swamp forest of the Congo Basin stores around 29 billion tons of carbon, approximately equivalent to 3 years. 3 years worth of global carbon emissions from fossil fuels. While the basin as a whole absorbs nearly 1.5 billion tons of carbon dioxide a year. In a year, it absorbs around 1.5 billion tons of carbon dioxide. The basin stretches around 6 countries, and that is Cameroon, Central African Republic, then DRC, that is Democratic Republic of Congo, and then Congo, and then Equatorial Guinea and Gabon. So, the Congo Basin stretches along these 6 countries. Therefore, the correct answer becomes option B, and that is Congo Basin. So, these are the 17 questions of the geography subject, and that is it from the geography subject, and we will be uploading one more video of any other subject in today only. So, stay tuned for it. Thank you so much for watching.